Hello, I'm Dr. Jeff Kingsley, and this is another edition of Riding in Cars with Researchers. Today we're going to talk about white men in research. How's that for a topic? Interested? White men in research. What in the world could we be talking about? As odd as it may seem, there are more white men in research as a proportion to the population than any other demographic. There are more white men represented in research than any other demographic. Now, why is that a problem? It's a problem for two reasons. One is ethical, one is medical. Ethically, a basic tenet of research is that research should be conducted on the patient population that stands to benefit from that research. Now, white men stand to benefit from the research that they are participating in. That's not the issue. The issue is the underrepresented populations. We're conducting research with more white men than other demographics, than women, than people of Asian descent, African descent. And we're extrapolating that research data. We're then giving those medicines to women, to people of other descent. And that I have an ethical problem with. Examples. One, pediatrics. We do research on adults, largely white men, and then we give those medications to kids at an extrapolated smaller dose or larger dose, depending upon how it's processed. There needs to be research done in kids. There's an inadequate amount of pediatric research being done. That's an ethical problem to do that. Now let's talk about medical. Why is it medically an issue? Well, because the smarter we get, the more we are realizing that we're not all made the same. There are subtle but important differences. As an example, we've learned that there are blood pressure medicines that are more or less effective in people of African descent than they are in people of Caucasian descent. But the majority of the research was done on people of Caucasian descent. So frankly, it took us a while to learn that. We're learning that there are differences in how anticoagulants are processed in people of different genetic makeups. Increasingly, we are learning that the genetics behind medicine is of the utmost importance. And so doing research and having most of the research done on white men, the opposite is really the more important, that there are too many demographics that aren't adequately represented in research. That has a medical issue, a medical concern for me. So, what does this mean? It means that if you're in research today, you have to reach out into your communities. You have to build bridges. You have to get to the point that your research looks like the demographics of the community that you're in. That's important. It's not a nice to have, it's a must. From an ethical and a medical standpoint, we have to do what is necessary, fight that fight, build those bridges so that we gain diversity in clinical research. If you're a patient and you're anything other than a white man, and the odds are you're not a white man because there are more non-white men in the world than there are white men, it means that you are today underrepresented in research data. That means that today, if you need a medication, you were underrepresented in the research data. And I don't want to make guesses about the right dose for you or how this medicine is going to be processed in your kidney or your liver. I want to know that this research was done, including your demographics, so that I know precisely how to prescribe for you. So what can you do? Get involved. Get involved in research. Find what research is going on in your community. Assist researchers with getting into your demographic, if in fact that's an issue. We, of course, need more participation from all groups, but we have to achieve diversity in clinical research for those two reasons: ethics and medical science. Thank you very much. Get involved.